Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know if clearing my throat actually did anything. Welcome back, everyone. We are live right now on the YouTube channel. If you're listening to this tomorrow morning, sorry you missed it. But, anyone in the chat, thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll get some members in there. We'll talk about this. We're going to be doing a USNI article review, kind of like we did last time with the Bonhomme Richard. Just kind of wrapping up some setup real quick. Again, thanks everyone for joining. Don't forget, while you're here, turn on notifications. So when I'm talking about going live, you're not missing anything, okay? And you know exactly when we'll be live every time we be live. All right, here we go. So, one of the last episodes when I had the two junior sailors in here, it went really well. I'm still hype about it. We really enjoyed it. I know Nick enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And those sailors, the feedback they gave me was that they enjoyed it too, which is really the most important thing, right? Is that they were enjoying it. So that was like a mentoring thing, right? And I had other people that listened to it and they're like, yo, that was a cool episode, this and that, and it really got me thinking about how I always say that this isn't a leadership podcast. A couple people were like, oh, it's kind of leadership-ish. And I was like, maybe yes, maybe no. I don't think so. But what it was mentoring, right? So it got me scratching my head, getting the dandruff out, finding little gray hairs. And I was thinking the mentoring aspect of it and how important is the mentoring aspect to our careers, which I can tell you for my career, very, very important, right? I gloat about and always tell stories about the man who mentored me, and I still keep in touch with my best friend. I talk about him all the time. I've talked about him on here. You guys know who it is if you're a regular listener, right? So it got me thinking about that mentoring relationship, mentoring with sailors. And I went back and at work, I was talking to a couple of these sailors about that, right? About how sometimes we in the Navy or any military, but I don't know everyone else in all the other military branches and they're senior enlisted, right? But oftentimes the focus hones in on this big, Gary, what's up, Gary? I see you in the chat. Let me see if my chat is working on the stream so I could watch it there. That'd be easier. I don't think it is. But anyways. Oh shit, guys. Anyways, so I was saying the aspect, so we're always like, oh, you got leadership. Oh, E-Racing with Dale. What's up, Dale? Thanks for joining us, Dale. I gotta figure out where to put my phone so I can read the chat because I don't have it up anywhere else. All right, so I was saying, all right, so we're always talking about leadership and having to do this to teach the leadership and train via leadership and teaching the next leaders how to be leaders, right? But how do we do that? We often talk about that there's problems with it, right? That the junior sailor doesn't get enough leadership training, that we as senior leaders doesn't provide it, that there's no brick and mortar schoolhouse to provide it like there was once upon a time back in the day, right? Where you would, when a sailor, E3 would make E4, you'd send them to the schoolhouse for a week or two and do this actual petty officer NDOC, which is now an app that you have to have complete, it's via app, PPMEKs, professional military knowledge, right? Whatever it is, electronic, right? So they do it on an app or whatever. They log in and it's done, right? And so how the fuck are we supposed to be teaching them leadership, right? If we don't have all the necessary tools, right? And then even ourselves, a lot of us didn't go through the necessary schools or protocols or read enough books or whatever that might have been, right? To do the same, right? To actually be a professional learned leader. And you've heard me talk about that a little bit more. How can we do this and gloat about this and brag about all this leader stuff if all we're doing is really everything, not everyone, speaking for myself, but a lot of us, we learned it through the ropes of just doing the job and learning, being mentored by someone else who just happened to be a leader about how the job works, whether it's in rate or out of rate. But also the job within the realm of the lifelines on the ship, right? This is how a ship operates. This is how things go down on the ship. This is the cycle of training. This is the cycle of maintenance. This is how they go together. This is the 18-month routine of coming in, going out, all that, right? So if you're in the chat, let me know what you think about us not having any kind of formal leadership training. But then also let me know who's your mentor, who's mentored you, and what like when did that take off, and how long has it been going, and so what have you got from it, right? So as I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I listen to other podcasts that claim that they're leadership podcasts, for military or for otherwise. It's like, well, that's cool, but you're still just kind of passing it down, right? It's just like an OJT thing. You could read all these books, and the books can say like, oh yeah, they really. I've read a couple books, believe it or not. I've read a couple books, and there wasn't a few of them. I was like, okay, that's new, right? Especially when they get into the like psychology of people and how they respond to things. And it's not that it's really new. It just gives you a deeper understanding of what you might already be doing. So you could be doing it right, and then it just tells you, hey, this is how you know you're doing it right, or hey, this is how you know you're doing it wrong. But I don't know. Like, it just seems like there's not ever, for my experience, that there was never like this epiphany light bulb, like, oh my God, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Like, oh, I finally read this John C. Maxwell, and now I get it. Now I can go in the office, and I can have everyone fill out these fucking, little, what's the fucking 4-letter word ones? And someone help me in the chat when I'm a PFNT or whatever, right? Gary says, I think that there are leaders out there that don't trust junior leaders to lead. So they do to lead. Yeah, M is next to L. Not really. Leaders to lead, so they do the leading. So they don't get that leadership that they need. So the junior sailor, I think, yeah, to lead. The junior sailor doesn't get the leadership that they need, right? Gary, that's what you're saying? So, again, going back to the books I've read, there's never been like it's a light switch that just like, boom, okay, I got it now. I know how to lead, right? You can't just read a book and just be like, I'm going to apply everything from the book. Okay, and then make that happen. And then that's why I want to talk about mentoring, because I was on the U.S. Naval Institute webpage, right, about to renew my subscription, because I read it every now and then, and when I read it, I feel that I get my $20 a year worth, right? And I came up, as I was scanning through different headlines and stuff to see what caught my eye. One caught me, and it just happened to line up with what I want to talk about today. Mentoring. It's not rank specific. So this is U.S. Naval Institute. Not sure if it's a locked up one or not. Just Google it, see if you could get in. If not, hey, go ahead and apply for it. It's not sponsored by them or anything, but it's a pretty cool website that has some cool Navy related, articles and different things, globally impacting, politically impacting, all kinds of stuff. So mentoring, it's not rank specific. So I'm going to read through this. It's not real long at all. And I'm going to break down a couple things that this author wrote about, right? And it's from the deck plates is like the column that it's in. So these are reader submissions, like op-ed pieces. To give you the background of this person, their name is Michelle Fares. I think Phares, Fares, might be said something different. I'm not sure. So it says, Ms. Fares separated in the Navy. This is her bio. From the Navy in December 2020, and now works as a government contractor. As Petty Officer First Class, she served at Navy Information Operations Command, Oahu, Hawaii, so at the NIOC out there. I know people that have also served out there. All right, and I was in Hawaii, beautiful place. And she served as a strategic mission manager in a shop that provides transparency and recommends asset placement for missions or exercises to customers and partners in the region. Well, yeah, Ed Snowden also worked out there before he went, did his thing. So whatever that's worth. All good. So, doesn't say how long she was in the Navy. She's probably at IT-1, I'm guessing, right? It says First Class, NIOC, that's IT stuff out there. So probably IT-1, working out there. Been out now a year, right? Just over a year. So, maybe she's been in 6 years, maybe. Who knows? Whatever. Got the sirens blasting in the burbs again. All right, so let's let's jump this off, right? All right. Long before military mentorship programs, apprentices learned trades from masters. Between the 12th and 14th century, a father would bring his son to the village blacksmith to learn the trade so that he would have a honed a skill in adulthood. The boy would have a roof over his head and study for 7 to 9 years, leaving as a journeyman. The master eventually would become a surrogate father of sorts, a teacher, and a mentor. The Navy has adapted the apprentice journeyman master system from history and molded it into a service-wide mentorship program. Generally, mentors are E6 or above, but really, any sailor can be a mentor. All right, so she gives the brief background of like mentor stuff, right? Yeah, awesome, spot on, right? Whether it's blacksmith, silversmithing, any kind of smithing or any other kind of, whether it's instruments or whatever they're going for, right? That's what happened as she wrote, right? Stuff similar to that. Now, where I think I'll tell you where she loses me is this. Where am I going here? I'm fucking up, people. She says the Navy adopted it, right? And it's like, well, did the Navy really adopt it, or is it just like adopted through history kind of thing, right? Like everyone somewhere kind of adopted it. I don't know. But a lot of times in these articles, I feel like you lead with, a lot of the authors lead with something good. And as I've said before, I've never written one of these, and I probably never will. So I'm not really breaking her down. I'm just breaking down the writing. And again, I only got through 10th grade English, right? But the Navy has adapted the apprentice journeyman master system from history and molded it into a service-wide mentorship program. Generally, mentors are E6 or above, but really any sailor could be a mentor. Okay, so I always have a problem with generalities, right? So if you're going to say generally it's E6 or above, but really, so why don't you just say anyone could be a mentor in the Navy? And if that's the case, then why are you claiming, or why are you supporting or even writing about that the Navy has adapted the apprentice journeyman master system, right? Because the apprentice journey master system right here would be your E3 and below, your apprentices. Your journeyman would be your E4, 5, 6. And then your masters would be your SMEs, subject matter experts, maybe some E6s, but breaking down the way, if you're saying we have adapted it, we have a 3-tier system of blue jackets, blue shirts, khakis. That's kind of what makes sense there, right? So you're saying that, but really anyone could be a mentor. Well, if we're like, history didn't say that, right? You're a mentor is someone who has mastered that craft. A journeyman might be able to mentor, right? Let's say the master craftsman, master blacksmith, whatever, right? We'll just stick with that. They're able to take on more than one apprentice. Well, or they would only take on one apprentice, but then they would have a journeyman working for them, right? One who might get to whack the hammer on the metal because they're getting pretty decent at it, but they're not the finishing touch on armor, swords, weaponry, whatever it might be, horseshoes, right? They're not quite there yet. They still need a couple years to hone their skill. But you know what that journeyman can do? They can go take that apprentice and say, hey, this is how we clean out stalls. This is how we separate the metals. This is what a good metal looks like. That's what a bad metal looks like. This is working material. This is scrap material. These are the tools we have. These are the tools that do these jobs. Those are the tools that do those jobs. That takes work off the masters, right? Off the master blacksmith, master, the SME in doing that. And it gives it, and it teaches that journeyman how to mentor the apprentice. Who's that apprentice mentoring? The fucking rats? So right there, like, really any sailor could be a mentor. And I'll come back and I'll caveat this, right? Just as she kind of does a little bit, right? Moving on, paragraph 2. The Navy core values are honor, courage, commitment. Doing the right thing, especially when no one is looking, sets a positive example and presents a role model for others to emulate. No matter their rank, sailors can reach out to their fellow shipmates and assist them, whether the need is work-related or personal. Just listening to someone who has had a hard day can build a foundation of trust, and the person may come back and ask for other advice, thereby starting a mentoring relationship. Being attentive to someone's well-being can be the start of rapport. Awesome. Well said. I don't think that's necessarily mentoring, though. Not in the way that she kind of squares it up to begin with, and that history has used it. Let me know in the chat what you guys think so far. Okay. The mentoring process is supposed to be from a master of a skill or set of skills of a job, teaching someone else how to do that job, right? Being an ear to listen to me, isn't always mentoring. Sometimes it could be, but not in the sense of like what we're trying to do work related. Okay. Everything else she's saying is absolutely true, right? It could build rapport, it could build trust, all that. And that might be the beginning of a mentoring relationship, right? It was kind of the beginning of mine, right? Me and Danny, we had to build trust with each other. And I've said it before, like, the first 6 months of me knowing him, and by knowing, I mean saying, yes, petty officer, right? Like, I'm pretty sure he didn't like me. There had to be trust there. Something had to be built there, and that's fine. And then worked into a mentoring. But when he got into mentoring, it got into, hey, this is how you do your job. This is what it means to be a SK. This is what it means to be a LS. This is what it means to be a work center soup. This is how you do that, right? I don't see anywhere, at least in this paragraph right now, talking about that, right? All it's talking about is more like being sympathetic, empathetic with people that might need someone to talk to. And that's important, right? Don't get me wrong. That's important. But that's not always and doesn't define mentoring enough for me. You let me know, right? Is that what you look for in a mentor, right? Is that the first thing you're looking for? It's important, yes. Is a trait average, right? A character trait, yes. But I don't know, right? It's just that one just kind of lost me. Why does this keep sliding one way but not the other? Come on, man. There we go. Sorry. All right, let's move on, right? A sailor does not have to be someone's official mentor to help. So then we're not talking about mentoring then, right? Like, what do we, you're losing me here. A mentor may be an experienced E5 in software programming, one willing to bring a seaman under his or her wing and impart knowledge to the next future expert. Or if sailors want to progress toward an excellent on their next physical readiness, PRT, they can reach out to the command fitness leader, who can be someone of a lower rank. The CFL would be a mentor by motivating these sailors to reach new goals set for that next PRT. All right, so this, again, kind of makes sense, right? I'm okay. I'm getting better with this, right? We're talking about, because why and you're like, well, what the fuck? You just said you didn't like. No, listen now. All right. If you're talking job-specific mentoring, going back to that blacksmith, okay, to teach someone. If I wanted to learn software engineering and the E4 who went to college for 4 years and then got a degree but didn't come in as an officer but now is IT3, and I'm trying to find someone who could teach me that for no reason having to do with my work but teach me, sure, that you might be able to get away with that, call that mentoring, or just, OJT or training me, right? How long is that? A year-long process? Again, when you go back to our original being taken from blacksmiths, from other trade works like that, this was a multi-year evolution, right? It wasn't show up for training on Fridays, for an hour while you're at the command for a year, 2 years, 3 years. All right, we're talking about multiple year, long-term, right? Long-term, until that apprentice is a journeyman, and that journeyman is so good they're now the master, and they are now taking on apprentices, and that master says, hey, you're good. People are now looking for you to teach them. You go forth and be the master. So again, it makes a little bit more sense, but, like E5 and software programming, I don't know how much these ITs do software programming. I mean, I can't even get a fucking computer to work on NMCI. No fault of the ITs. Don't kill me, but we all know how that goes, okay? Now let's get into, they talk about the CFL part. Or if sailors want to progress towards an excellent on their PRT, your physical readiness, all that. Excuse me? They can reach out to the command fitness leader. Okay, again, so that might be like short-term mentoring, right? You got someone who's very well in shape, They take the chubby person, me, right, and they're like, hey, this is how you get in shape. All right, cool, right? It's like short-term mentoring. But again, I just go back to like the long-termness of it, right? Are you I would do one better and be like, is my CFL, are they like a bodybuilder type competing? And I know this of them, right? I know that their IG has IFBB in it. You know, if their IG has IFBB Pro, whoever, you know it's real. You know it's official. You know they've been doing that a long time. That might be someone who could mentor you, right? Not just to get an excellent on your PRT, which isn't hard, okay? But that might be someone you're looking to mentor you for that complete, how we say, quote unquote, lifestyle change, right? You're not trying to get PRT. You're trying to get 10% body fat. You're trying to go into a show, in 9 months. You want to be up on stage. That's mentoring. That's, coaching and mentoring, right? Whatever. You want someone that's going to be like, hey, we're at the gym. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. And we're doing it for the next 9 months until you're up on stage and you're winning, right? And then after that, you're sticking with them and you're doing it over and over, right? Again, I just don't see like, hey, oh yeah, okay, come on, we could PT and you could get a excellent on your PRT. Come on, man. Come on, my fat ass almost got it. My fat ass got like a high good, right? I even kept my stomach off the damn plank. All right. Moving on. 1E3 sailor asked me how she could improve professionally. I advised that she could start mentoring and learning now. She said, but I'm just a seaman. What could I do? I told her she could mentor her peers as well as her juniors and, depending on her other duties, could have positional authority over her seniors. Like, oh my God, here we go. I mentioned how could she make a difference in the lives of those around her. Her outlook changed after our discussion. Inspired, she took the initiative to mentor, and it showed her superiors she is capable and of more responsibility. I hate the word superiors. Along with subordinates. Rank does not always dictate a sailor's role. Rank doesn't always dictate, but it dictates a lot. Okay? And again, I go back to, no, you're not just a seaman. Every seaman, every person is a critical part of making the wheels and the cogs rotate and spin together and make things happen. Okay? But if you're just a seaman and you've only been on board for 2 years, how much mentoring are you going to do? A little. I'm not saying none, okay? If you're shit hot and you're all the way squared away, then you could, right? You'll be like, hey, this is how you do this is how you do that. But again, it goes back to that, I'm looking for the time length, right? That doesn't mean it only has to be that. I'm just using her examples of where it came from and how what she says the Navy has split it up to, kind of against the arguments of what she presents, right? And like mentoring her peers as well as you, like, whoa, again, it just go. And for the Navy, I guess it goes back to like qualifications and stuff, right? How qualified is this seaman? Are they the most senior qualified seaman on all the ship? Right. And if they're that, then I would already be thinking that they're already like doing this mentoring, that other junior sailors are checking on board already going to them and peeping game and be like, I need to go to that person. That's the one I go to right there. So how much do you need to like tell them that? Right. Yeah. And then, it says depending on her other duties could have positional authority over seniors. So what does that mean? What positional authority? Like your other dude, you're standing watch, right? So I mean, I just don't know where that plugs into the mentoring thing, right there, right? And you could be like, oh, that's because you're chief and you salty about it. No, if you're standing gate watch and you tell me to fucking get out of the way or do something, I'm listening because I understand you have the positional authority of that watch station, right? In this scenario, I just don't know why she points that out. Okay. Anyone could be a mentor, and being one shows that you want others to succeed. Yes, that's true. This is invaluable for junior sailors to learn early in their military careers. As sailors rise through the ranks, they learn how important it is to take care of junior sailors, not just the ones in their care, but all those within the command. As you rise, they rise. Take pride in their success. After all, present-day senior personnel will one day be gone, along with their seasoned knowledge. Those who once were junior sailors will need to jump into the newly vacated, more senior shoes and would strive to reach new heights. As more senior sailors, these men and women will now assume the role of caring for junior personnel. Will they be ready? So I don't ever like to say caring for or taking care of. I lead, right? I'm not here to care for you. I'm not your caretaker, right? I'm not here to take care of you. I'm here to lead you through the mission and professional goals and success. Okay, it's just me. I'm not here. Like, this is what I think of taking care of. I think of my kids. I'm taking care of you, right? Come here. It's okay. It's okay. No, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to listen, be a good ear, be empathetic, all that good stuff. Sure, but that's part of like the leadership, mentorship part, right? Any way you want to put that, and like everything, she sums it up nicely here. I just got some problems with the middle stuff. What's Gary say? Gary says just being a mentor a mentor would not give you a position of authority. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it was like, depending on what her duties were, she says, depending on your other duties, you could have positional authority over seniors. Well, it's like, just because you have positional authority in some place doesn't make you a mentor for them. It's just positional authority. Like, again, you're on ECP watch. Motherfuckers coming through there need to listen to you. You're the dude with the gun. Where do you want me to go? You want me to get the fuck out of the way? I'm getting the fuck out of the way, right? Easy as that. You want to see my ID? There's my ID. What do you want? Okay. But I was saying, like, so she sums it up, right? And she sums it up nicely by saying that, yeah, we're going to be gone and it's on you. But I go back to, if you haven't had a mentor for most of your career, it's going to harm you, or you're not going to learn a lot of things and how to be the best you could be, because you've missed that mentorship throughout most of your career. You cannot be like, oh, I had a mentor once upon a time when I was a seaman and that was it, and I never had a mentor again and I'm good to go. Because the journey is always changing, and depending on where you're at and what you're doing, you need to be mentored on different things. And that's why I take it back to her original, when she originally lays it out, right? And she's like, hey, the blacksmith would take a journeyman and be a surrogate father, right? Or in today's Navy, you could be a sea mama if you want, right? You could be a surrogate mother to these sailors. Okay. Shout out my wife. She is sea mama for a couple of them baby corpsmen out there. Okay. Hey, Nikki, I love you. But it has to be an ongoing thing. You can't just do it for a little bit, right? And just be like, all right, you got it now. What? And so then, I kick it back, because a lot of times that's not on the senior person. The senior person is there. You know how to get a hold of that senior person. So the junior person, what is the junior person doing to be like, hey, I realize that I have a mentor, or I realize I need a mentor. Now I need to implement that. How do I implement that? You know what I mean? Like, what do I do? How do I make that mentor work? Because, again, if your mentor is a leader, and the leader's, like, as she says, is there for your success, and it takes pride in your success, you'll learn that naturally through your relationship, right? And it will naturally trickle down and trickle out to you appreciating everyone's success around you and not just yours, right? And again, I got to the subject because the responses that we had from the previous episode with me and Nick and the two junior sailors, and and listening to other podcasts that claim their leadership podcasts, and maybe they are, I whatever. But leadership isn't being taught very well in the Navy, right? It's all passed me down in hearsay. And then the very few actually read books and try to apply things that are written by, I guess professional leadership experts. I don't know how one becomes a leadership expert. Okay. Is it just your job experience and then you took some classes and then like that's it? Can you go to enough college and let me know? Hit me up on Facebook. Let me know. Is there a leadership degree out there in college? A BS, a master's? Can I go get my PhD in leadership? If there is, that's cool. But I would also think then I could take that, course directed, learning plan and apply it directly to people, and it would work. And we all know that it fucking wouldn't, because leadership is different person to person, and you have to mentor people based on that person, right? Not based on a blanket, like, here it is. This is how you do it. Boom, there it is. Cookie cutter. Everyone's the same. It's not. We all know it's not. So what are we doing? Right. Yeah, again, so that I'm gonna wrap it up there. Okay. It's like cool article. I don't know. I'm not like, apprentices have been learning trades from masters for centuries, but mentorship can take place up and down the chain of command. A ship's machinist, this says, a ship's machinist could mentor a more senior sailor on technical ship repairs. But no, like, because you could show me, right? You could be like, hey, this is how I weld this. This is how I fixed it. That's not mentoring me. I'm not going to do that job. The Navy, if we're going to say the Navy is mentoring and all that, right? What am I mentoring for? I'm mentoring you to be a better LS so you know how this LS shit works. So when you're LS2, LS1, LSC, LSCM, you would have learned something from me along as whoever else you decided to learn from, and you can work the supply system to your best ability. Okay? That RPPO, I'm not mentoring them on how to be a LS. I'm training them and teaching them how to do that little responsibility of their job. Right, Gary? That's training, right? And just to fill that position, to do that job, collateral duty, whatever you want to call it. Right? That's one of your responsibilities. I need you to do it. This is how you do it. Go do it. Right? The mentoring, to me, you let me know what you think. Mentoring has to be years. Just as she started with, right, in this article. It has to be years. You have to look at that person like they're a surrogate father. See daddy, see mama. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's not derogatory. It's not supposed to make you feel like a punk or a chump or anything like that. You look at that person and be like, that's my sea daddy. They're the ones that taught me the life of a sailor, right? How to be that rating, how to party and stay out of trouble, right? The places to go to, the places not to go to. All of it. All of that's involved in the sailor life, right? But it's not me going down and like, oh, yeah, how do you do that brazing? How do you do that welding? Oh, okay. I'm not going back again, right? I was just walking around with skating, and you showed me. That's a quick little training thing, right? That's all it is. Now, that HT, who has that young HT, and he's teaching them how to weld and do all that stuff, that's mentoring. And that's the closest you get to the old school, right? Where it's like blacksmithing and stuff like that. Where I'm teaching, no, man, that's not how you do it. You got to work it like this. Look, let me show you. If you put your hands like that and you work the bead and you do that's more mentoring. That especially with like job, especially like the engineers and everything that was hands on, turning, wrenching, doing that thing, right? Yeah, I think this is the article is, again, hats off to the former, probably IT1 maybe, but Miss Ferris, great, bravery and all that to write the article. I did it. I'm just kind of breaking it down because it just fell in my lap, and it's what I wanted to talk about, mentoring, and it had a lot of several points that I wanted to talk about. And if this person who's now out of the Navy is writing about it, then there's several other sailors in the Navy, not just myself, thinking about it and wondering, how does mentoring work? Mentoring to me, right, works by you finding a senior person, probably in your division, to teach you how your rate works and how to make it happen. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's it, y'all. Let's go ahead and wrap up here. I appreciate everyone stopping by in the chat. If you were there for a little bit, let me just hit you for the outro. Hey, don't forget. So this is up on YouTube. Yeah, I'm trying to get 2 episodes out every week. Trying to do like Tuesdays and Thursdays, Mondays and Thursdays, Tuesdays and Fridays, something like that. So, don't forget, always check by the YouTube channel for a video. Turn on notifications so whenever we go live, you get that notification. You drop in and have a chat with me. And if you're finding value out of this, please hit the share button, the little arrow that goes whoop, whoop, and send it to somebody. Post it up on your page. Let me know what you think. To be like, hey, check this guy out. He's fucking talking crazy. All right. Hey, appreciate y'all. Thanks. For more information on how you can support the podcast, please visit us at anchor.fm/Bravo Zulu podcast. The information, views, and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely of me, Joshua Moore, and the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the DOD, DON, or those of the respected institutions or organizations. Thanks for joining.